Welcome to third declension adjectives with a quick little review of wees to get us started. We're going to start off with this noun, which is sort of third declension, sort of irregular. In the singular, wees, wees, we, wim, we. It means force. And in the plural, vires, virium, viribus, vires, viribus. It means strength. And notice that it is I stem. Now, third declension adjectives. There are two things to know about third declension adjectives. First of all, the declension. They are super I stems. We'll show you what that means. And second, how many endings do they have in the nominative singular? What does that mean? We will explain it. This has to do with the dictionary entry and what the dictionary entry looks like. Okay, so moving on. These are the endings for a third declension adjective. We've got masculine and feminine endings and a set of neuter endings. And this is similar to what we've got in nouns. You've got some nouns that are masculine and feminine and follow one set of endings, and neuters follow a different set of endings. Okay, so in the masculine and feminine singular, they are I stem, and I call adjectives super I stem, because not only do we have the genitive plural I stem, as we've got here, but we've also got a super I stem here, and actually, I should be making an, put an arrow here. There we go. Okay, so we've got blank, is, e, m, e. This is what makes it super I stem. Eis, eum, ibus, eis, ibus. Okay. Now, moving on to the neuter singular. The endings here look like what you would expect from a neuter third declension I stem noun. So we've got blank, is, e, blank, e. Ia, eum, ibus, ia, ibus. Okay. And the I stem shows up here in the ablative, as it does over here. So, and then in the plural, nominative, genitive, and accusative. Okay. Now, that's the declension. You do have to have your wits about you when you look at the dictionary entry for a third declension adjective. How many endings does it have? And when we say endings, we mean in the nominative singular. Does it have 3 endings, 2 endings, or 1 ending? What does that even mean? Some third declension adjectives are 3 ending, and you break down their dictionary entry the way you would for a 212 adjective. So if you think of Magnus, magna, magnum, you've got the masculine nominative singular, the feminine nominative singular, and the neuter nominative singular. Okay, and we've got that going on here also. We've got a masculine nominative singular, a feminine nominative singular, and a neuter nominative singular. And they follow the pattern blank. Masculine nominative singular can be all over the place. Feminine nominative singular ends in is. Neuter nominative singular ends in the letter E. And to get the stem, go to the feminine nominative singular, and take off the is ending. So your stem is Keller. And here we decline it for you. And this is it in the singular. You've got your masculine nominative singular and your feminine nominative singular. And because they're masculine and feminine, the rest of their endings go together. So we've got Keller or Kelleris, and then Kelleris, Kellery, Kellerem, Kellery, Kellery. Sorry, remember that it's I stem. And then in the neuter, you've got Kellere, Kelleris, Kellery, Kellere, Kellery, I stem. Moving on. In the plural, it's very predictable. It follows third declension plural endings, I stem, and masculine and feminine go together in a lump. So you've got Kelleres, Kellerium, Kelleribus, Kelleres, Kelleribus, and then in the neuter, Kelleria, Kellerium, Kelleribus, Kelleria, Kelleribus. Huzzah! Now, what does it mean to be a two-ending adjective? Well, this is third declension, and we're already used to seeing masculine and feminine endings kind of go together, and that's exactly what happens in a dictionary entry like this. So in a two-ending adjective dictionary entry, you will usually only see two forms of the adjective, and the one is masculine and feminine, and the other one is neuter, nominative singular. And I personally strongly recommend, and on quizzes I require, that you write out the word adjective just to make it very clear that you know that I know that you know that this is a two-ending adjective and you don't try to turn it into a noun or anything like that. The masculine and feminine is always going to end in is if we are talking about a two-ending adjective, and the neuter is always going to end in e, and that's very nice and convenient. And you drop these standard endings to get the stem. Fort, like that. Okay. And here we decline it. And as you can see, masculine and feminine has one set of endings, fortis, fortis, forti, fortem, forti. And neuter has its own set of endings, forte, fortis, forti, forte, forti. Now, what about a one-ending adjective? These are a little bit weird. A one-ending adjective will still have two Latin words in its dictionary entry. The first word is going to be the masculine, feminine, and neuter nominative singular. And then the second Latin word is actually going to be the genitive. And we're not used to seeing the genitive show up in an adjective entry. That's okay. This is what one-ending third declension adjectives do. So felicis is the masculine, feminine, neuter, genitive singular. And I strongly recommend, and I require on quizzes, that you write out gen. The stem is from the second element, is from the genitive. Drop the genitive ending, and what's left is your stem. So felic. Okay. It's not a noun, even though we might think it might be because it has a genitive. No, it's an adjective. And here I decline it in the singular for you. In the nominative, you can lump together the masculine and the feminine and the neuter. Felix, Felix. And you can also do that in the genitive and in the dative. But in the accusative, remember that you've got different rules for masculine and feminine accusative. You add the M ending. But in the neuter, neuter accusative, always, always, always looks like neuter nominative. And then in the ablative, we've got an I stem, so felici. What's next? Here are some sample adjectives, and I thought, why don't you look at them and break down the entries? And I did these in a different order, as in my little introductory lecture, I gave 3 ending and then 2 ending and then 1 ending, but I mixed it up here to keep you on your toes. Okay, so we've got potens, genitive, potentis. This genitive tells us that the fact that we are specifying that it's got a genitive, this tells us that it is a 1-ending adjective, and it means powerful. And the stem is potent. Okay, moving on. Acer, acris, acre. Oh yes, it's a 3-ending adjective. To get the stem, go to the feminine and drop the ending, and you're left with ac. And look, here's another adjective. It's 2 endings. Dulcis, dulce, and then let's specify adjective. You will sometimes also see a 2-ending adjective spelled out like this. With a separate entry for the masculine and for the feminine, even though they look exactly like one another. That's okay too. If you're going to smush together the masculine and feminine, make sure that you include the word adjective. This is my rule. And you get the stem. Let's go to the neuter for the stem. That's nice. Okay, what's next? That's it. Volete. Be well, be happy.